So I heard that my hero could save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait. I decided to make a new Kirblog about what it's like meeting them. Oh, Creed, you never let me down. Ever.
I'm so excited to do this Kirblog with you, Curb. It's going to be all about...
Curbity curb.
This is going to be all about what I want to hear in Zootopia 2, because that's the Kirblog that I want to make. It's okay, here's my idea. Here's my pitch. Okay. It's going to be
Send help.
2.5 hours of Nick and Judy furiously making out, and it's going to be called Zootopia 2 Heavy Petting. There's my shitty joke. Hi!
Oh, God almighty. Okay, so funny story about this one that has nothing to do with anything you just said.
Aw, fuck me.
Later.
Please.
So I tried recording this particular subject like 3 times. I got the submission for this a couple weeks ago, and I was going to do this, and I wanted to wait until Shady and I did the one about BoJack Horseman, but he seemed like he wasn't available that week. Excuse me, I had to burp. And then I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever, I'll just try recording this because I got a little bit of inspiration for it. But I wasn't liking it. All 3 times I attempted, I was like, something's like not right about this. It's like not concise enough to the point or something. I don't know. Fuck it, whatever. So I put it on hold, and then Shady was available. We did the BoJack one. I was like, okay, I'll come back to this one later. And then I thought, you know what? Actually, this would be kind of fun to have Ben on this. So hi, Ben.
Hi.
Hi again.
Yay.
Also, we're joined by Heather, who's to the other side of me. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. She's gonna probably mostly be a voice in the background, but she has full permission to jump in and make hilarious comments at us if she so desires.
Do it.
Yay.
Anyway, so this, what we're going to talk about as we're ending September here, this was from an anonymous contributor, from Tumblr. A couple weeks ago I got this. Here's a Kirblog suggestion. Being disappointed in creative people you once admired. This harkens back to the phrase, never meet your heroes, because sadly this can happen. Examples include in-person experiences with these people at conventions or even how they present themselves on social media. Do you have your own experience with this? And if so, have they ruined your enjoyment of their works? It's understandable if you can't name specific examples, but maybe just a general overview would be enough.
Okay, so let's talk about all of the people that we know who are assholes.
Right.
Let's start by ruining our careers.
Right, so number 1, Xander Mobus. Number
God.
2, Edward Bosco. Number 3, Kira Buckland. Number 4,
Erica Lindbeck.
Definitely.
Yeah, Sarah Williams. We got
list of all our current friends.
yes, that we're friends with. Them. That is a joke.
Yes,
Internet.
that's ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
So the reason I wanted to have Ben on this one and
he's stupid.
is because I'm an idiot,
Yeah.
and he seems to be convinced that he's not going to have anything interesting to contribute to this.
Nope.
But he fooled me on what I kind of consider this one to be a semi-spiritual successor to in terms of the subject matter, which for those of you who had not seen, it might have been like over a year ago we recorded that one. It was the con guest etiquette do's and don'ts of interacting with guests and things at anime conventions and otherwise. And I really liked how it turned out and did pretty well. And Ben claims that he had no idea what the fuck he was talking about and just pulled it out of his ass.
I'm pretty sure I was stoned and drunk at the same time.
Neither of which you do.
Dang it.
Well, you drink sometimes.
I
but
do
not
drink.
Nearly as much.
Yeah.
But you only pretend to because you're a babby. I'm pinching his cheek right now. You're like spiky. Fucking
I know.
shave.
I'm
God.
doing that tomorrow.
Gross. Yeah. No, you're doing that tonight, baby.
Wow. Sexy.
It's just.
Oh, I'm just looking at my girlfriend's face.
How many gay jokes can we make about each other?
Oh my
While
God.
his girlfriend is right here.
She's so patient. Baby, you're so patient. You know that?
I'm gonna go home.
So,
Okay, bye.
Don't though. Okay, so I have personally found in both my personal my firsthand and my secondhand experience, this kind of situation of which Anonymous is speaking of seems to happen the most commonly with people in the entertainment business.
That's true.
Because this might sound a little weird, but whatever. The people that I consider to be, when you say the word hero, when I'm talking like true heroes, I think like firefighters, police officers, soldiers, I don't know, activists or like, peacekeepers, etc. Those kind of people who are like doing good for the world. Not to say that, in some way people in the entertainment business aren't also trying to do the same thing.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference between running into a burning building and saving a baby, and
Yeah.
and doing a movie.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a little different. But, no.
But it seems to happen the most commonly, especially when it's like, say, public appearances, conventions, things like that, autograph sessions, etc. So so kind of that's why, like, I feel like the spirit of this question is kind of like a sequel to interacting with guests and people that you admire, etc. So I wanted to start off by actually sharing a story about.
Tell us a story, Kurt.
Okay. What are you right now?
I don't know.
Some kind of new Digimon?
Sure.
Stupid Mon?
Fuck you,
that was
Mon.
no, sorry, Digimon Trimon. There we go.
Ah.
That was really good. So a person who I still consider in a few different ways to be one of my idol / heroes / influences is a guy named Justin Cook, who most of you guys probably know primarily as a voice actor, but he's also and has been, I think, for like at least 10 years now, close to it, the head producer of Funimation. Basically, he is like the guy, like, kind of overseeing everything, like all the production side of everything. And he still does voiceover stuff. People would know him mainly for Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho and various Dragon Ball characters, etc. So he was a big influence on me when I was in middle school and early high school, because I followed Yu Yu Hakusho, and then I was listening to a bunch of commentaries that he did. This is around the time where I was going on the TV Tome forums, and I was learning about voice actors and blah, 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 etc. And then I got to meet him this is funnily enough because I just did the one about Otakon a few weeks back, at Otakon 2005. He was a guest there. It was when Fullmetal Alchemist was like taking over the goddamn world. And I got to meet him and et cetera. It was really cool. And every time, I want to actually preface with this. Every time I have met Justin, he has been absolutely nothing but friendly and personable and super nice, totally cool. But that's why I'm prefacing with this, because there's something else to this a little bit later. So I would see him at a few different cons, like in various places. And then there was a point in like mid to late 2000s where I was meeting him, and the same thing, same interaction, super nice, super personal, super friendly, but suddenly I was feeling like, oh man, like I was feeling self-conscious about, as if like I didn't matter to him because he was such a big deal in the grand scheme of the, because objectively, Justin is like a pioneer of anime. Like he is one of, genuinely like one of the key figures in why anime dubs have taken a step up as of late. Certainly why they have for Funimation, and why anime has spread a lot more in general in the U.S. And for some reason, I was taking personally, personal interactions in a negative way, where I was interpreting his being totally nice and totally cool like he was before as like, oh, I'm just some peon. Who the fuck am I? Like, why do I matter? And whatever, he's too cool for me or something like that. Like, I internalized that and made it into something negative. A little bit of time passed, and then he did an interview, which I will link to because it's totally worth listening to. He did an interview on the Anime News Network podcast. This is a couple years ago now. And he basically talked about how he got into the position that he is, why he took the position of head producer. And the short version is the reason why is because the previous guy, Barry Watson, left, and they needed a new person in his place. And it was a choice between either, okay, I can stay where I am and be more on the creative side in terms of like directing shows like Yu Yu Hakusho, et cetera, and being like a line producer, or I can be the producer and oversee everybody else and make sure that everything is going smoothly and be a person who understands anime and what needs to go into it, et cetera. And so he took that job, and then that's where he's been ever since. And when I learned that, I was basically reminded of, again, like why I admire this person so much. So then a little while later, I ran into him again at New York Comic Con. There was like some kind of after party thing at like a bar or something, and I happened to cross him, and I sat down, and he remembered who I was. And I talked with him, and I had more personal time to tell him, like, dude, I just want you to know, like, I heard that interview, and, in addition to, like, you were a huge influence on me as, like, an actor, as a director, like, all this stuff, like, you seriously. And he was so cool and was really humble. He's like, dude, that's really touching, thanks so much. And, like, and it was really nice, And that was one of the first time that I stopped and thought about, okay, you know what? I think because I thought back about like why was I so pissy about like those couple times where I was like making that into something negative entirely in my head. Where does that come from? I think the problem that kind of comes with when you have any kind of idol, even if whether it's the entertainment business type one or not, it's really easy to put those kind of people that have some kind of like really positive influence on you on a pedestal. And then I think when you put them on that pedestal, if one wrong thing, and even then, like wrong, I put in heavy quotation marks, happens, it's easy for the pedestal to topple over, and then it's like, oh, my world is shattered, my entire perception of everything. And this goes back to also why the reason I wanted to do this after the BoJack Horseman Kirblog, because BoJack Horseman, as you guys have not seen it yet, but not to spoil anything, it's a show about humanizing people who are celebrities, people who live and breathe the entertainment business because you know that's what they chose more or less, and how like why is it that sometimes they can be abrasive or you know or whatever? Why do they come off that way? Where does that come from? And is it worth thinking about the opposite perspective, kind of thing? So. What do you have to say about any of this thus far, Benjamin?
I think that the reason why you may have started feeling differently about him, specifically, is because you're an idiot.
For certain. You sounded so much like you were going into
I was gonna say something smart.
No, like you were sounding like a therapist for a second.
Thank
Like
you.
I believed you. That's why you're good at acting.
I'm an actor. I just good for Ben.
Good job.
No, there are different things that can go into it. For one thing, this is this weird thing, but like if you're talking about somebody who is gaining in either popularity or notoriety, especially if they have even just a slightly abrasive personality, and not even abrasive, just big personality, you will find the likeliness of somebody who ran into him, who had a bad experience about them, and will say bad things about them, as though that is the absolute objective fact. And what I've noticed, this is my story. This is not about me, but I was at a convention a while ago, signing autographs, and my autograph lines usually don't last too long. I'm usually a little bit overbooked, so I had like 30 minutes left, and there was nobody in line. This guy came up to me, and he starts just sort of telling me about his life story as opposed to really wanting me to sign anything. And I was like, well, I got 30 minutes. I'm just supposed to be here anyway, so I'm going to let this guy talk. And what he had to say was basically a lot of negative things. He suffered from depression, and I think like his parents died at an early age. He went through poverty, like a lot of really bad things. And I felt bad for him, but it was really depressing. And I know that sounds like a horrible thing to say, but I was just kind of like, oh, I really feel uncomfortable, and I kind of want this guy to go away, but I didn't say anything. But then he said something to me that was really weird. He told me that he feels that James Arnold Taylor is a really mean guy. Now, I am not close personal friends with James at all, but I've worked with him a number of times. James is like really, really nice.
He seems, I've met him for like
Yeah.
all 5 seconds after Ratchet and Clank. He was like the nicest guy ever.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a super nice dude. So like that was like weird, and I said like, oh well why do you think James is a mean bad person? He's like, well, I met him at another convention, and I was in his autograph line, and I was just talking to him, and he told me that I had to leave, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, oh well. Yeah, duh, because you're really freaking depressing. Nobody wants to hear you. You're really, so I'm thinking like, yeah, I don't blame James for being like, you need to go. I'm sure he said it probably, because he's James, probably in like the nicest way possible, but like, if I didn't know James, and all I knew was this guy, and all I knew was that like, apparently James Arnold Taylor was really rude to him, I might come to that conclusion and go, oh yeah, I like, this guy I met randomly told me that James is like this really mean person. So the problem is that that's how like rumors get started.
Right.
So like, the more successful somebody is, the more aware of them people are, the more likely you are to find somebody who either over-exaggerates things, doesn't tell you the whole story, and will say all kinds of really mean things about somebody who really doesn't deserve it. And that happens like a lot. So there are the people out there who you meet them and they're really mean and they're not at all what you thought.
And those are very, very few and far between, I think.
Yeah, it actually is. It's mostly people who are actually pretty nice, but you know what? Sometimes you're having a bad day, and you never really know what's going on.
See, that's the thing. That seems like, because what you were talking about before, I feel like that happens a fair amount. Or alternatively, the most common one I tend to hear is like they come across. Actually, sometimes even like outside of like a public appearance, in which case this makes more sense if it's just like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm sorry. Yeah. If like you go up to somebody and they're like, I'm sorry, I really don't have time right now, or I really don't want to talk right now, etc. And they go, and then that gets interpreted as like, oh, they were an asshole.
Oh yeah, and he's eating lunch, and somebody just randomly comes up and goes,
yeah,
is this you?
Or like they're on their way somewhere, kind of thing, Because like, okay, from my perspective, so we did Anime Expo a few months ago. And that weekend was the most amount of times in one weekend at any convention I've been to where I got stopped and recognized the most. And it was really nice. And I don't pretend to be anywhere near the level of like Martin or like a bigger VA guy or somebody that like they need to use the back ways to get around places so they don't get stopped all the time. Mainly because they got to keep a schedule of events and things to go to.
He's talking, by the way, about Martin Billany.
Little Kariba, of course. Yeah,
a lot of people.
I'm assuming you guys probably know when I say Martin. But either way, so I got stopped a lot, and everybody was super nice. Nobody was like going over the line or being too weird or anything like that.
Can I touch your nose, Kirby?
No, that was you, asshole.
Well, yeah.
And I let you, if you want to do it again.
Oh, it's so soft, guys. It actually is soft. Oh God.
Good. Somebody animate that. Don't really do that. So I got stopped a lot, and everybody was. I'm assuming you probably did a few times throughout the weekend too. Yeah. Were you guesting this year, or were you just hanging around?
I was sort of guesting.
Oh, you had events, but you weren't like a guest of honor before.
No.
That was 2 years ago. Yeah. But and everybody was really nice. I would always make time to stop and talk with them. I think there were maybe like one or two times where I was like, I'm really sorry, I have to run off. So like if we were like really going somewhere or something.
Yeah.
And it was nice. And I've stolen this from somebody, I can't remember where or who, but something I often preface with when I meet fans. Particularly if they're being like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm really meeting you, like if they're like freaking out a little bit or whatever, like even if it's like mild, I usually open up with, it's okay, I'm a human being who shits just like you and everybody else. Like, one, because like the language I feel kind of like disarms. It's like I'm seriously just a dude. I have a cool job, and I appreciate that you are enthusiastic and care about the job that I have. Because it is because of you that I have the job that I have. So there's always, and that's the thing. I think that by and large, that's how everybody is. That is how like everybody that you're going to meet who would be in that sort of position is going to treat you. Because generally, especially if they're making a public appearance like at a convention or whatever, unless they're like just a money grubbing dickhole, and there are some of those. Yeah. But most of the time they're just like, no, I want to go, and even if they're like making money for an appearance fee or something, they still want to meet people, excuse me, and interact with them directly, and have these experiences with them to begin with. Like, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, that's why you're there. I mean, that's why you're going as a guest. It's so that you can meet fans. Yeah. So like it's kind of expected if somebody comes up to you and goes, oh my gosh, at a con.
But and the opposite end, like, they really are, again, they do exist, but they are rarities. Yeah. Not the horse. Even though she's great.
Oh wow, I didn't even go there.
Oh, you were a failure of a brony.
I
Let me
really
tell you
am.
what.
I've not seen that show in years.
Well, good job. But no, and there are some people that are either they're just like, I'm just in it for the money. I don't really give a shit about what I do. I don't remember anything about my job or whatever kind of thing. You know, I don't really care about fans. And honestly, it's okay for some of those people to feel that way. My argument is like, well, then why are you going to don't bother going to conventions? Yeah. Even though I get it, money, whatever, but like still, like, come the fuck on already. And there are also people who do conventions and I'll say shirk on their responsibilities towards fans in terms of like, just doing bad shit. I'll leave that particularly vague. And those people are not cool. But again, very, very grand minority compared to generally everybody, from my experience, is super cool and super accepting and receptive. And as far as like, when the guests are really screwing up, like, if they're being okay, if somebody is actually being a dick to you, that's not okay. Like if you really do, because I've had some too. I won't go into details, but like if you really do have like a bad experience, like a personal one with somebody who's like mistreating you or like being an asshole or whatever, that's perfectly justifiable to be like, yeah, that person was an asshole to me.
Can I tell a story? This is,
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
This is kind of related. Okay, I did not see this. I wish I was there. So this is Max Middleman and Robbie Damon are at a con. Apparently, somebody asked Max in like an autograph line or something. He said, "Hey, why is it that like the English voice actors just aren't as good as like the Japanese actors? Like, why are English actors so terrible?" And so,
Completely straight face.
yeah. And so Max turns and says to Robbie, goes, Hey, Robbie, this guy, and he's saying it like nice and loud so everybody can hear. This guy wants to know why English-speaking voice actors are bad. And without missing a beat, Robbie goes, Oh, that's easy. That's no problem. See, what we do is we go into the booth. We just take a big ass shit
Oh my God.
all over the microphone.
Really?
Yes. And then like the guys who write it, they come in and they just puke all over the script. And then the sound engineers, they just shit all over the board. And apparently this thing just kept going.
This is an autograph section?
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh
So, like-
God. I hope they get reinvited to that con every year from here on out.
Yes, so like here's the thing. That guy who asked that question probably thinks like, man, Max and Robbie are so mean, like, you know what I mean? But it's sort of like it's all about perspective. You know, you never really know who you're getting that information from.
Oh my God.
Aren't you glad you asked me on this Kirblog?
100%. Wow. No, and I know of a few cases like that where Caitlin Glass. I think it was actually, you know what? I think it might have been that same Otakon or maybe the year afterward. I don't know, but it was some Otakon. Caitlin Glass was telling a great story about. I guess there was. Oh no. I think Caitlin, if you hear this and I misquote this, I apologize. But I remember. I think it was some person, some fan who had like a golden pass or something, so they were able to like go to like some of the special areas or whatever and have like meet and greets or something. And the person, they had the program with the information about all of the guests that explained who they were. And the person was just being like, "Hey, who are all you guys? Are you all the cast of Inuyasha or something?" Like just some like I don't give enough of a shit to like even do the research. I think Scott McNeil was there that year, so like he was the only person that fit that bill, and the rest of us were just like, they gave you a book, like what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, yeah, where was I going?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. See, I used to have an outline for this, and I was like, I'm gonna go through the whole thing and see what happens. But now I remember. Actually, no, this is good piggybacking off of your story.
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
All right.
So I think that yes, while there are cases where people in those kind of positions, yes, they go over the line, they shirk in their responsibilities, or they're just black and white, they're just being dicks. Like that happens. It's unfortunate, and fuck those people. Generally, most of those people don't get invited back to conventions, by the way, most of the time. But I think that actually what's more kind of relevant to this particular question is the fact that what I find happens a lot is, and typically it's based in it's coming from a place of positivity, but it just goes too far, where the people who are like, on the worshiping side, and I know worshiping sounds kind of extreme, but like who are idolizing, who have the oh, you're my hero kind of thing. Yeah. Something I've been hearing a lot tossed around lately. We were talking about this. We had dinner before this. We were talking about this before.
I had pancakes.
Good, thank you.
Yay,
Everybody,
I'm contributing.
everybody needed to know.
They did.
I had a burger. What did you have? I thought you had panini, right?
Pesto sandwich.
Oh, okay, good. This is extremely important information to the
Yes.
story. A phrase that I hear get tossed around a lot that it concerns me is "you saved my life," right? Now, circling back to the bit about the what I consider to be like true heroes. Yeah. If you get rescued by like a burning building, by a burning building from a firefighter who was trying,
they're scary.
like scratch that, reverse it. Rest in peace, Gene Wilder. Then that's a case where it's like wow, I owe that person my life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even then, I actually have a good point. Remind me. I have a point that I don't want to forget this time. about a Hey Arnold episode.
Okay.
Hold on to
I'll
that.
just remember Hey Arnold.
Right.
Episode. I'll scream it at the top of my lungs.
Don't. Jesus fucking God. You just turned into Bulbasaur or something. Good God Almighty. Sorry. Happy birthday, Tara. We're on the day that we're recording this, so not the day this comes out. Yeah, not the day it's coming out. Anyway.
Happy belated.
Happy a week ago. We're breaking the fourth wall. Anyway, okay. Here's what it breaks down to. So say you have somebody who is depressed or sick or has some kind of problem, etc.
Yeah.
And they're watching a TV show or playing a video game, watching a movie, something, right? Or even actually, you know what? Because we've been talking so much about in the case of actors, but I think this can apply to artists and creators as well.
Sure.
Have it be a little bit more broad. Experiencing some kind of creation. I'll start with actors first because this is kind of like on a lower scale, where it's like, excuse me, you meet somebody at a convention and it's like, I watched this show when I was depressed / etc. And your performance on this character, I'm burping a lot because that burger was really good. Sorry. Your performance in this character was so incredibly inspiring, and I loved this character so much, and they really got me out of my depression. I just wanted to say you did a great job.
Yeah, sure, kid. You want to sign your titties? Sure. Next.
Again, the rarity. No, but and then here's the thing too, because while we're on the note of voice actors, not every single voice actor that is working in the business is going to remember absolutely every single moment of every single episode of every single thing ever.
Yeah.
Now, because of how big animation has become, I think that generally people that work in this business do get a little bit more invested and do make an effort to remember stuff, so that when those kind of things happen, they'll have something to talk about. But even if they don't, it still comes down to like, that's really cool, man. Like, I'm really, really glad to hear that. And even if I was like some very small part to help you get back on your feet, that's awesome. What I just described, that is a totally healthy way of going about that kind of story. Because those are great. Whenever I hear those, I mean, hell, when I hear that about my show, even, I'm like, that like means the absolute world to me. But here's that big hairy but. Yeah. I think that there's a point that. And I want everybody to understand.
Big hairy butt.
Edward
Bosco, when did you get here?
Hey, yo, sports. Get out of here, Bosco. Jesus Christ.
He's gonna kick my ass.
No, he wouldn't dare touch you. He'd have to go through me first.
Okay.
I want everybody to understand that I am not picking on anybody for going through this. Again, this is out of concern, not out of what a fucking bunch of idiots or whatever. I see that people take what I just described, that kind of situation, and go too far with it, where it's like, your performance was so good, and I related so much to that character that when I was depressed, and you saved my life.
Yeah.
That, personally, I feel, is to a point of unhealthiness, because that's projecting, like, your sense of happiness onto, that's almost making your happiness a responsibility to that person. And I'll even get as specific as this. If it's like you were the English voice of a character in the show that was created in a different country, all by people that I don't know and that you don't know, and you had nothing to do with the creation of, you went in, you did a bunch of recording, and etc., and I liked your performance a lot, and I'm projecting the happiness and the uplifting that I got from experiencing this character onto my interaction with you, and I am insisting that you are directly responsible for me being okay right now. Like,
yeah.
And I know that sounds kind of extreme, but that when I hear those kind of things come up, that's what makes me think, okay, that's maybe going a little bit overboard with what you're taking away from it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, on another hand, if say you're at like a bigger one, like a San Diego Comic-Con, and you're meeting like the creator of a show, like something on like on TV or whatever, right? And they are directly responsible for the creation of the show. In that case, sure, maybe it's a little bit more justifiable because they're directly related to it. But
they didn't make that show just for you.
No, and I'm sure that certainly a part of the creation comes from, like, I hope that people like this and enjoy it and get something out of it. That's typically, especially if it's a creator-driven show. Maybe not a toy-driven show because they want you to just buy product. But either way,
Hey.
Optimus Prime's death meant a lot to people. So anyway, but even if it's more justifiable in that kind of perspective, it still comes down to the same thing of like I am putting the responsibility of like, no, I'm happy because of you directly.
Right.
Like, don't you understand that? Like, I feel that then no matter what they say, whether they are like being intentionally distant so that they don't get you too attached, or even just being like, that means so much to me, thank you so much, etc. Then no matter what they do,
You don't understand.
yeah.
No, you saved me.
Because that's the thing. To a much, in my case, to a much smaller extent, to a much less extreme extent, I feel like that is kind of why, like, when I had that period of like, oh man, Justin Cook is too cool for me, what the fuck, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's that same kind of mentality, but it gets blown out of proportion depending on from person to person kind of thing.
Yeah.
Again, I am not making fun when I say this at all. What I'm saying is that is if you're listening to this and you have that kind of fixation on somebody and you have that kind of justification in your head, I'm saying that is worth thinking about. Okay, why do I feel that way? Why do I have that that kind of fixation and that like relation to that person, and why do I put that on them kind of thing, because I think that there are ways to manage that in a little bit of a more balanced way, I guess.
Almost like there's some sort of thing they could act out that would balance.
Shut up, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. You're the second person to say balancing act that of total not related to that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw. I thought it was the first.
Shut up.
Okay.
Don't shut up though. Do you actually have anything about
I don't.
that?
See, part of me, I look at this. I don't know that it's necessarily unhealthy to project yourself like that. The only time it becomes unhealthy is if you are expecting something from them and not getting it, because then it's almost like it almost has the reverse effect. If you feel like oh my gosh, Dezel in Tales of Zestiria really spoke to me, and I am that character, and I get it. And you meet Curb, and you're like, you made my life because I get this character so much. No matter what he says, it's probably never going to actually make you happy. And so I feel like it's actually going to make you realize that the character and the actor are two very different people. And it'll almost make you feel like the thing that saved your life isn't real.
Right.
And that can almost backfire on you.
Yeah.
That's the only real reason I think that it's actually unhealthy for you, is because there's ramifications for putting too much faith. It's like putting all your eggs in one
it's
basket.
self-destructive. It's like
Yeah.
unintentionally self-destructive in a way.
Yeah.
The thing that I think is important, and again, this goes back to like why, because like in BoJack Horseman, again, this is why I wanted to do this after the one with Shady. BoJack Horseman, it's all about humanizing these people who are in these kind of positions.
Yeah.
And a lot of those characters like have those kind of interactions with other people that like follow their work or whatever in different kind of ways. And I think what's important to get out of that and think about in real life is that everybody is just a person. Even if they have a really fucking cool job that is directly relevant to your interests and your life, etc. Pardon me, so burpy. They're still a human being. They're still a human being that, by and large, they go home, they take the trash out, they go to sleep.
Here's something you can do. It's a really simple exercise. Okay, here's what you do. Take your number one favorite celebrity. All right. I'm gonna pull a random. I don't actually have a favorite.
Chris
celebrity.
Evans.
Chris Evans?
Sure.
Perfect. Chris Evans. He's so hot in Captain America. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
I would touch his pooter. Sorry. Go ahead.
Thanks, Gerber. All right, here's what I want you to do. Let's say it's Chris Evans. You picture whoever the heck you want. All right. I want you to picture this celebrity. They are crouched on the toilet, gripping their stomach in pain, going, God, why did I eat those tacos? And having a massive diuretic shit. Just crapping like
I
diarrhea.
thought you were going somewhere with this.
I am.
Okay.
Hang on,
Okay.
Here's why. That has probably happened. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's like some super sexy lady, some super sexy male. Everybody goes through that. It's kind of like everybody poops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I want you to think about, because that probably has happened. They are regular people. Everybody is a regular person right now. At the end of the day, I don't know, some celebrity right now, let's say Chris Evans, right now it's about 10, 12. You know what he's probably doing? He's probably, I don't know, watching TV. I mean, he's probably doing some normal ass crap right now. So there's really no reason to picture these people as being larger than life because they're just alive.
No,
just
they're
human beings.
but that's the thing, and it's so easy, and especially if like you're just like a what you consider to be a normal everyday person or whatever. It's so easy to put like, man, they're Captain America, or like, oh man, they made this cartoon, like holy shit. And especially when you're young,
Yeah.
you know, and you don't have as much of like a life perspective in general. It's really easy to put people on those pedestals and the closest equivalent of like gods on earth kind of thing. You know, it's a little extreme sounding, but this is an extreme Kirblog. We're wearing backwards hats and on skateboards the entire time recording this.
Well, bud.
What?
That's from a Goofy movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's after like the big concert. There's this dude who comes up to it wearing like a lot like what you described and goes, "Well, bud," and I'm like, I've never heard anybody say that phrase.
Is that fucking what's his name? The Leaning Tower of Cheesa guy.
No. Just a random like.
Okay, well then
guy.
you've contributed nothing yet again.
Aw.
It's okay. Goofy movie.
I made a reference that you didn't get. That's pretty good.
Comment. I like the part when Ben Diskin made the Goofy movie reference. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about?
Since I can remember. Anyway,
I'm not gonna laugh anymore. I'm certainly not gonna laugh at you anymore because you're killing me.
I'm sorry.
I'm lying though. Yeah, I think that, okay, actually, you know, here's another good example. Actually, this goes back to the true hero sort of thing. Okay, my stepdad, Kevin, is a firefighter.
Oh, cool.
Kevin is an old school dude. And he and I, as a new school, new age, you know, yuppie scumbag, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. But he's my stepdad. He's been happily married to my mom for many years, and he was a firefighter. You know, he literally, his career was saving babies out of burning buildings.
Yeah.
Going back to the full circle, 30 minutes ago. And I respect that. And like, even though I'll be like, Kevin can rub me the wrong way sometimes. Kevin can annoy me sometimes, whatever. Like, but he's a really good guy, you know. And he's a human being who has issues like everybody else, you know. And I don't think he'll never hear this, but he wouldn't mind me saying that. You know, because I've talked about, I've been marathoning through Breaking Bad. Like Hank Schrader is totally like that, where he's like, he's a little rough around the edges. He can be kind of a dick sometimes, but he's a good guy. And he's a cop. He's working to protect people from drug abuse, etc. Pardon me. So like in that kind of way, it's like a person who's like in my life, who's like part of my family, is like, he's a person. He is a hero. He's a tried and true, real heroic figure, and he's just another guy who goes home and watches TV and vegetates on the couch like anybody else who has a long day of work, etc. And that's how it is for everybody. And sure, maybe there are some people who lead more eccentric or extravagant lives if they want. You know, certainly Bojack does that, but Bojack is an unhealthy, weird, fucking train wreck of a person, of a horseman.
Money can't buy you happiness.
Yeah, no. So I think that don't make the joke again or I'll kill you. The emotional balancing act to keep, I know, haha.
Wow, okay.
Is important because I think that knowing both sides, knowing being on the same level playing field as everybody in terms of just we're all people, I think is really important. Because then, and sure, maybe even like healthy and unhealthy, like maybe even that's too extreme too. I don't know. You know, this episode's too extreme. Beef. You know, but I think that it does good for everybody in the sense of like everybody walks away happy and not expecting too much, expecting too little, being disappointed, and you know, because then when you do get the chance to meet people that have done something, anything, in any kind of context that have meant something to you, that have impacted you in any kind of positive way, you know, then I think in that case, like the interaction that you might get to have with those people will be really impactful positively for them too. Yeah. You know, because I think that when it is like, I think that by and large, as human beings, we try to put effort and you know, and passion into what it is that we do for a living. You know, sometimes it's not always possible, but you know, we certainly try to. And then when an opportunity comes up to, you know, to get appreciation for that, and some people don't even take compliments. Some people can't even like take any kind of admiration because they just don't get it. Like they're just like whatever. Like actually no, seriously, I've met a lot of people that like I'll be like, dude, you were so goddamn talented. Or like, oh, you were such a good person. No, actually no, I remember. I was just talking to my friend Mike Aracco a couple nights ago on the phone, and we were having like a long 2-hour really in-depth emotional conversation. I was telling him like, dude, you're such a good person, etc. And he's like, well, my doctor says I should take compliments better, so thanks, man. I'm just like, you're such a piece of shit, Michael. Love you. Yeah, so I don't know. English, what do you have to say about this shit?
I feel like the real reason why people say never meet your heroes is because nobody can ever really live up to the image that you put on them.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, the closest I can come to this is that I'm a voice actor, so I'm gonna have to talk about acting. We're not the characters; we're just the guys who do the voices. So if I play some really heroic character, it doesn't mean I'm a hero. If I play a villainous character, it doesn't mean I'm a villain. And so I feel like people automatically come at you with certain expectations as though you are the person you appear to be. I mean, here on this Kirblog, right now, I'm talking fairly frequently. I'm mostly letting Kirb take it over because it's his show and all that stuff. But in real life, I'm the quiet one.
It's my show.
It's your show. But in real life, okay, we have a friend of ours, Michael Johnston.
I already know where you go.
His impression of me is, and you can't see it, but it's just me. It's just a smile and a nod. That's it, because that's all I say.
He doesn't even say mm-hmm.
There, he just smiles and nods.
He just smiles, stares blankly at you, and he just nods his head affirmatively. That's his impression of him.
Because in real life, I'm the quiet one in our group.
Hey, Heather, can you do your impression of Michael Johnston, please?
I haven't met him.
No, when from the Kirblog, remember?
Yeah, but you got to get on mic to do that. You have to get over here because we can't hear you from over there. You're too quiet.
Your impression of Michael Johnston on the Zestiria Kirblog talking about Mick Leo.
Yes, do it. Do it.
He sprays stuff with his staff that sprays stuff with a staff that sprays with a staff that sprays with a staff.
We talk about food a lot in this game. Oh my god.
Mick Leo's really good with
He's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, Michael.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm really sorry. I've never met you. Sorry.
I'm gonna link this to him, and he's gonna be laughing at that stuff.
I want to meet you though because of that Kirblog.
Specifically because of that, not because of Teen Wolf or Tales of Hysteria or anything. That, but again, I'm sorry. No, I hope you've all enjoyed the Let's Make Fun of All of Our Friends Kirblog today.
You know who sucks?
Who?
Xander Mobus. Let's talk about Xander.
God almighty. He's too fucking tall and handsome. He should die. Jesus Christ.
No, but anyway, the point is, in real life, I am a quiet person. Here, I'm laughing and I'm being loud, but in real life, I'm quiet. And so if you meet me in person, you're like, God, he's nothing like he is when he's a Kirblog guest. Well, that's because that's not how I actually behave in public.
So what you're saying is you're being fake right now. You're being a fake douchebag.
Yes.
Don't meet your heroes. Don't meet Ben because he will turn out
fake douchebag, liar, piece of shit, scumbag.
Absolutely.
Yes. Who touches Kirb's nose?
Such a disappointment.
I'm so soft.
Oh, stop. He's not even really doing it.
I'm miming it.
He's lying to you again, right now.
He's lying.
I shouldn't have. Why do I have you on?
Because you're
My
dumb.
God.
You're dumb.
Very. Extremely. Extreme. This is an extreme Kirblog.
90s.
It was just turning into a fucking BoJack.
Can we just start talking
wreck.
about Kim Possible if we're talking about the 90s? That was a good show. Let's do it.
Was that the 90s?
I'm pretty sure it was.
I should have grown up with that show.
Oh wait, no, it might have been early 2000s.
No, it was 2000s.
Ah,
it
crap.
was.
All right. I don't know dates.
Naked Mole Rats. So.
Oh, hey.
What?
Hey Arnold.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, actually, this is a perfect way to end it. Holy Jesus Christ. Okay. There's two particular episodes. I think this might have been after your time as Eugene. I can't remember, but there's two particular episodes of Hey Arnold, and if you grew up with them, you'll know that. If you were a '90s kid and you're extreme, you might know what they are. But if not, then I'll give you the lock lines of them. One of them was about Sid, one of the other kids at school, who got accidentally saved by Arnold, who happened to push him out of the way of something that fell on him and would have killed him. To which Arnold is like, well, I didn't mean to, and also I don't think that would have killed you. And Sid is like, no, Arnold, you saved my life. And so for the rest of the episode, Sid dedicates himself to being a slave to Arnold and makes himself totally miserable. Arnold is totally miserable having him be a slave, and he's like, he won't listen to me. He won't stop. So fuck it. I'm just going to give in. I'll just let him do what he wants because I can't talk any sense into him. Until they both realize, oh my God, we're miserable. Why are we doing this? And then they have the stereotypical thing in every one of those types of episodes where it's like, then Sid saves Arnold's life, and it's like, now we're even, and now I don't have to do what you say anymore. And he's like, but I didn't make you do anything I said, whatever, bye, kind of thing. And then another one that I just rewatched semi-recently, it's one of my favorite episodes. It was about when Arnold had to do a book report, pardon me, I was spraying Ben with nose air, with my staff. Christ Almighty, Jesus. Arnold has to do a book report, and he wants to interview the author of this book that this book series he was a big fan of, all these children's books, and he happens across meeting them, and they're this just like raging old bitch who's like super mean and nasty. She's like, get the fuck out of my property. Like, she doesn't say fuck, but get out of my property, you little brat, kind of thing. It's a great episode. And so he's just like, no, I just want to talk with you for a couple minutes and have you answer a couple questions because this is a really, really good point. I'm glad I didn't forget. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Where he's like, because you wrote these books that I care about and that had a big impact on me, I want to do this report about it. Eventually, after like a whole solid week of her like ignoring him and like yelling at him, etc., she's like, if I answer your stupid questions, will you please leave me alone? So he goes in, he asks her a few questions, she's super mean about it, and basically is just like, I didn't fucking care about any of the things that I wrote, and blah, blah, blah. I just made up a bunch of lies to make money and to get kids to believe in all this nonsense till they grow up and old and tired to realize it's all a bunch of bullshit, kind of thing. And he's like, now get out. And he's like, okay. You're still my favorite author, though. And she's like, what are you talking about? Even after all those things I said? He's like, yeah, because you wrote these books. And these books were a huge impact on me, and I love them. And just because you're mean and nasty and you don't believe in them or yourself anymore, I don't care. I still love your work. Bye. And then she's just like, shit, man. And then she makes a new book that's inspired off of her interactions with him, and it's adorable. The first one that I mentioned parallels to what we were talking about earlier, where there's a balance you got to keep that's not going overboard. And thankfully, I've never seen in real life a case like what Sid did, because that's really like
that would be borderline stalking.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, yeah. But the characters are like 9, so whatever.
And they're friends; they know each other.
Yeah. The second example actually is something that I think. Oh, actually, this is part of the question of has this ever ruined your experience? Okay, I'm obviously not going to name names. In the entertainment business, as
James
people who are
Arnold
Taylor is a fucking douchebag. No, he's wonderful.
He's not. We're joking.
Go check out his YouTube channel. Actually, he's doing a lot more. He's doing vlogs these days. Actually, gross. So I was talking about how yes, there are people who are assholes. Yeah. Mixed in once in a while. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, people who are assholes that are also talented and get their work done, they work. They work in the industry. Yeah. They get away with being assholes. It's not always fair. It's not always okay. Because sometimes it can be as simple as like, they're kind of a dickhole, but whatever, they get their work done. And then there are other cases where like, oh yeah, they did something like illegal or whatever. It can be a more extreme case. I'm not going to name names. There have been plenty of cases where the creator of this show or this voice actor or this whatever, this person that had something to do with some direct involvement with this thing that was really cool and that I liked. And I know through my own information and my own experiences, my own personal experiences in some cases, know them to not be a very nice person or maybe not even a very good person in some cases. Yeah. Thankfully, those are very few. To count on one hand. But either way, I am able to separate, but you know what? God damn, they're a talented artist. And I do agree with a lot of the points that they make about this thing when they talk about this and whatever. Or I do really like their performance in this, etc. You are perfectly capable of making that, separation with something. Hell, a while ago, this bears repeating, I said this on, I think it was the Kirblog I did about responsibility and like when you're a creator and when you're a public figure of some kind of thing. You do have a responsibility. when you put yourself out there, and if you're going to be any kind of influence on people, I think it is very important to think of that, and that's something that I take very seriously. But I even said, like, to like anybody that was listening, I was like, if you have some kind of issue with me personally, if you don't agree with me in whatever way, you know, and if by extension you don't want to support my work, you're perfectly entitled to do that. Everybody has any right whatsoever, you know, I think fairly to do that. But I also think that it's perfectly acceptable to be like, yeah, but I like their work because I can take their creation separately from the creator, you know? And if anything, I think that is also a healthy way to just be a consumer and to just be a normal person going through life. If anything, I think that goes back to the other bit about the like never meet your heroes, because the truth of the matter fucking is, your point about like everybody has had, you know, burning, flaming diarrhea at some point. Everybody's probably done something fucking stupid in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's probably, you know, unless they're like Mr. Peanut Butter and they're just perfect. You don't know who that is.
I do. I saw the first episode. I watched the first
Ben
episode.
Diskin.
I'm giving it a shot.
I'm Ben Diskin. I'm really nice. Fuck you. That was my old impression of you from Acceptable. Sorry. Hi, I'm Ben Diskin. I'm really nice. What's going on? It's like, piece of shit.
Oh my god, dude, you sound just like me.
Wow. I thought you were about to say just like James Arnold Taylor. Oh my god.
That's
Robbie Damon? No. Sorry.
what? No.
Jesus H. I haven't said Jesus H in a while. Thank you for pulling that out of me. What the fuck was I saying?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm blaming you. Yeah, good.
Like, I think you really should have done this Kirblog alone. You would have gotten derailed a lot more.
No, but mainly because of you and your Michael impression. You saved the fucking day.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, he's probably not gonna hear this anyway. Jesus.
Feel bad.
Heather's like the most pure. Heather is a precious cinnamon bun, as the Tumblr people like to say. She's probably okay. No, I lied before. Everybody's probably done something like awful to another person. Heather, I doubt ever has done anything bad to anybody in existence, because I don't think she's capable of doing that.
No.
The point being in that case is, I think that's why. I think that is where that phrase comes from, because they don't want to accept like, oh yeah, they've done something bad. But I think that if anything, there's also a part of you that should accept like, yeah, they have their own issues too.
Yeah.
You know, they have their own problems. They probably have like, you know, actually, there was another case recently. I ran into somebody who I know okay, and they looked like they were having a shitty day. They were like, maybe like they might have been sick or something, or like just very like exasperated. I don't know. And I could tell based on that, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna make too much small talk, just gonna say hey, and then on my way out I'll be like, hey, hope you're doing all right, and etc. And they weren't a dick at all. They were very like, oh yeah, cool, thanks man, I'll catch you later, you know. And that's the case where I'm like, you know what, I'm glad that in my 27 years of existence, I've gained that perspective, because I bet as a younger person I would have been like, what the fuck, why was he being such an asshole? But now I'm just like, you know what? Probably not having a great day, probably not feeling all that okay today. That's all right. I'm not going to look too far into that. Just, you know, wish him well, that's it, that kind of thing. I think that being self-aware and having enough of a good perspective, and you know what, because especially to any listeners out there who are on the younger side, because I know there's a lot of like kids in high school and middle school and stuff to listen to these, you know, the sooner that you can grow that perspective, I think that the better off that you'll be, you know. And sure, a lot of that does have to come from whatever personal experiences that you forge. But you know what? If you keep an open mind to that sort of thing, then I think that by and large, you're going to come out with having generally really positive experiences, you know, and not just for yourself, but ones that you'll leave on those people that you know, look up to in return, you know? So is that about as good as I can end it, I think? Unless you got anything else you want to toss in?
No.
You look like a fucking Undertale character with your striped ass shirt
I
right
do.
now. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. Or an Earthbound character, I guess, would constitute the same.
I-
You can't see it. I'm staring directly at his nice pecs he's been working on.
My man boobs.
I
I pulled a muscle wiping my ass. Trust me on this. I
Wow.
do not have.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I did that too.
You've learned a lot of really important lessons today, everybody.
See, all right. If you ever have like doubts, just picture me wiping my ass and going, ah, my chest, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
There you go.
Oh,
Humanizing.
good God Almighty.
That's a way to end it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, ass wiping.
Do you wanna plug your shit?
Do I have
guess.
to?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've already. I'll just have the links in the description.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about your shit again.
No, I don't. I'm on Twitter and I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
There.
Click the links. Go to that.
They're
whatever.
going to be there. Follow me if you want to.
Do
for
that.
no reason.
Do you want
I
me to
don't
give yours or? Do you
know.
not
Yeah,
care?
yeah.
Man,
Okay.
I don't do anything on them.
Okay. I'll have Heather's. It's HB Pettigrew, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'll have a
I don't
link
even
to it
know. I don't
if you want.
use it.
Well, you'll get used to Heather because I guess we can talk about this now.
Uh-oh. Announcement. Surprise announcement.
No, I think we talked about it before.
A new challenger arrives.
Shut up. God, why are you?
Why am I here?
Just die.
Okay.
Don't though, because I need you for January when Kingdom Hearts 2.8
expert segue.
HD, the final chapter. Fucking get on with it already. Comes out for PS4. We're gonna get that, and some of you guys might have been noticing I've been experimenting a little bit with streaming lately for a few different nefarious purposes. One of which is because, and I think we have talked about this before somewhere publicly.
Maybe.
Are you sure?
I
feel like we have.
Have we?
Yeah, maybe on like one of the other Kirblogs. Either way,
okay.
we want to stream a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts, of specifically Dream Drop Distance, the HD version that's going to be on Final Chapter Prologue, because Ben and Heather recently played through all the Kingdom Hearts games on the HD collections that Heather had, and so now they're fully engrossed in the mythos of Kingdom Hearts, as it were. But Ben, as the voice of young Master Xehanort, has actually not played Dream Drop Distance, and primarily, I want to play through the game with him mainly so I can get his reactions of hearing his own lines and being like, oh, that's what I was talking about like 5 years ago when I recorded that, and I had no fucking clue what I was talking about. That's fair for me to say, right?
That is fair.
Yeah. So that's gonna be fun, and we're gonna trade off, and it'll be the three of us. Heather will be the Kingdom Hearts aficionado, kind of.
Basically, here's what it's going to be: play, pause. Okay, what? Explain this
Yeah.
to me. Play, pause. Okay, wait, what? That's what the entire stream is going to be.
more or less. And he's gonna be Sora, and I'm gonna be Riku in terms of the gameplay, because
Yes.
our dynamic in life is he's Sora, I'm Riku, and Heather is Kairi.
Yes,
which certainly says a lot about me.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
kind of sad.
Oh.
I feel bad. Now, great way to end this on a fucking
Oh
bummer.
my god! Hey, here's a not bummer.
Oh, okay.
Here's another nefarious purpose. So Ben was a guest last year during the month of October.
Yes,
For a
Voice
certain
October.
themed month. Yeah, and I guess I'll save the details for this. Will be coming out on the 27th. On Friday the 30th, last day of this month, I'm going to be putting out an announcement video with some further details, but I can certainly say up front, as you can look forward to it now, I've been kind of teasing a little bit, is that we're going to be doing a second Voice October. And this time, I'm going to be doing some certain other things, going a little bit, because last year it was that I happened to have 2 games coming out that I happened to have voiced in. This year I don't, but I'm going to be doing something bigger and better in regards to the Kirblogs that I'll be putting out for the length of that month.
So what you're saying is, I'm going to be a guest again?
No, that's why I have you now. So this is kind of leading into Voice October 2016.
Eat shit,
Okay,
Carver.
all right. Can it
dare
be
you.
Chris Evans, as long as it's his specifically?
Okay, yeah, sure. His
Cool.
Sweet, sweet diarrhea stool. Yummy.
Gross. Get out.
Okay.
You're never coming back.
I know.
Yeah, so look forward to that. I'll have an announcement with more details, and also things I'll even be doing in November relating to the anniversary of a certain thingy.
Ooh.
So look forward to my announcement. I'm pulling a Sega right now. Like, look forward to our upcoming event where we'll be announcing that new things with Sonic will be happening. So I can't lecture them anymore. Sorry, guys. That's it. That's going to wrap up us and the month of September.
Wow.
Wow. I can't fucking believe 2016 is like almost over already.
It's really sped by.
What am I doing with my life? Christ almighty. Hopefully I'll have something of significance to talk about soon.
Yay.
Not counting the Kingdom Hearts stream.
That's
but
pretty significant.
it'll be fun.
That's going to be your first time actually streaming video games, isn't
Yeah.
it? All right. So
It means I've given up already.
Oh, okay. In the comments below.
Tell me about your fucking, I'm gonna kill you, experiences with meeting your heroes. Good and bad. Don't have to mention names if you don't want to.
I met Kerbifer at a convention.
And he was a
totes
fucking
dope,
asshole,
yeah.
man. Yeah, no, please.
Actually-
Go ahead.
Actually, this is like the worst time to bring this up. I just
Sure.
realized. Okay, because it's like the Kirblog's over. But okay, there was this one time when you were an asshole to this dude, and I was sitting right there for it, and I was kind of like, oh shit. So we were at Talking Tunes.
Wait. But you had okay. Actually, okay. I'm not having the end card to whoever's editing this. Never mind, because you were telling this story on a fucking panel.
I was.
Somebody recorded it, and they didn't record the end of it.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and also for the record, the person he's about to talk about was not a fan. He was not. I didn't know who this person was. Carry on.
Okay, so we were at Talking Tunes, and Talking Tunes, for those of you guys who don't know, it's Rob Paulson's podcast. It's done at the LA Improv.
Yeah, the Hollywood Improv,
Hollywood
and it's
Improv.
like a live event and
Yeah.
stuff.
So this guy like comes up to us. We're just hanging out. We're like sitting at a table, and it's like he
Was
just.
with somebody else? I think was it just you and
I think it was just you and me.
Okay.
And we were just sort of hanging out, and it's like no matter where we would go, this dude was just kind of always sort of there, but not really interacting with us. Then we sit down, and he just kind of comes up and just sort of has a seat with us. And we're both kind of looking at each other like, oh, I wonder who this guy is. And he says,
Oh, and
like,
for the record, I think he did. I think we were talking about voiceover
we were.
shit.
I mean,
okay.
to be fair, we're at a voiceover thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like everybody's talking about voiceover. But anyway,
course.
he comes by and he's just sort of like, hey, I really liked what you did with Tome. He just like comes right out of nowhere and like,
Oh wait. Oh, then I'm thinking of a different thing.
oh, you're thinking of a different thing.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, either way. Okay. Well, then
okay.
this person was a fan. I might be thinking of a different story. Either way,
Like,
carry on.
he
Carry
knew
on.
we were. So and like that was this moment where you were just kind of like, whoa, where's this dude coming from? Because he just kind of came out of nowhere with this whole thing. Like he just immediately recognized you and stuff. And he started off by saying like, oh, yeah, I wanted to let you know that I'm a voice actor.
Oh.
Now
Okay.
you remember?
Yeah.
Okay. And like you kind of shut his ass down hard. You were like, okay, what have you done? And he starts like naming some like an online project that I guess
Right.
like,
I don't. Yeah.
yeah, and you were just like, okay, no. You don't want to go up to people and just start introducing yourself as a voice actor. That's not cool just because you've done some stuff online. And I was like, whoa, dang, that's like really harsh. So like, I have this impression that dude is out there going like, man, Kerbifer's mean. I came up to him, I just wanted to tell him that I do voiceover stuff. He was so mean to me. But like, there's on the other side of things, you know, when you do stuff professionally and somebody comes up to you and tells you that they're doing the same thing, it's usually from a perspective of, hey, I feel like we connect on a certain level. It's not meant to be offensive, but at the same time, if you're like a really like well-established, you know, voice actor, I'm talking about somebody big like Frank Welker, Jim Cummings, guys like that, and some dude goes up to him and says like, oh yeah, I'm a voice actor too. It's kind of like going up to an NBA player and going like, I shoot hoops.
I play basketball.
Yeah, it's like okay, that really.
Well, but
that's
even
weird.
okay, maybe that's not the best analogy because they'd be like, yeah, hey, that's cool, man, enjoy. You know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing too to cut in.
Yeah.
So the difference between that, because okay, I actually even just earlier today when we were recording this, no, actually, excuse me, I think it was the other day. Somebody linked me their demo.
Yeah.
Most of the time, my answer to when people ever ask me for advice on voiceover specifically, most of the time I'll link them to iwannabeavoiceactor.com, which is Dee Bradley Baker's website. Highly recommended. Yeah. I usually, if I can tell, like, okay, they're starting out and maybe they're not sure if they're fully taking this seriously, I'll link them to that and say, read all of this and really determine if this is what you want to do and then, you know, take the next step kind of thing.
Yeah.
My perspective on that is if people are asking for advice, I try to be real and blunt with them because this goes back to the responsibility thing. I don't like it when people give an unrealistic expectation of like, it's the best job in the world and blah, blah, blah. And all you got to do is work hard at it. Because that used to be what everybody's answer was to people.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I don't like that. So when people ask me for advice, I tip it, and I try to be blunt, but I also don't try to be an asshole about it. The reason I was more harsh to this guy, and this is also, again, very rare, but when people are like, hey, I'm offering myself, can you give me something? I'm just like, okay, hold on a minute. I don't know you, and this is your first interaction with me is you come up and you're basically saying like, hey, can you give me a job? Like, yeah, thankfully, most interactions I have with folks like that are not like that, but I don't like the bullshit. I would much rather be honest than be like, oh yeah, man, yeah, totally, I'll be in touch or whatever. Yeah, send me your demo and your email. Because I'm gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be flat out like, hey, that's not cool, and you shouldn't do that. Which I'm assuming is that where you were going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like, I mean, that's one of those things where like, that guy would be. I think you'd fall into the category of meeting his hero. I mean, like I don't know if.
Well, I don't know if that was the case.
Okay,
necessarily.
hero might be a strong word, but like person he's familiar with,
Sure.
person who's that sort of thing, and he probably came away from that thinking, oh man, this guy's so mean, not really quite understanding why you were behaving that way. But I think that's kind of the problem with this stuff is that you never really know who you're getting your information from. You never really know whose opinion you're hearing. So when somebody says, like I met Kerber and he was an asshole, it's like, well, why? Well, what did you say to him that made him behave that way? You're only hearing half the story. And
Ben is my PR manager right now.
basically, okay, if you have a problem with my buddy Kerber,
Oh my God! Shut up.
Okay.
No, actually, the thing that I thought you were going to reference was I think it was also a Talking Tunes. It was a different case. There was a guy who I think he just overheard us. That was what I was saying. We were talking about voiceover stuff. Some guy who just had like business cards, like overheard us, and he just went up and was like, "Hey, were you guys talking about voiceover or whatever?" And like, not even knowing who we were. Not that like, what, you don't know who we are? Like, fucking, what's your? But just in terms of like, he literally just heard us talking about voiceover, assumed that we had done stuff professionally, inserted himself into the conversation because he wanted to get himself into that, and then he was passing cards around and etc. It was a different person. Because I do remember also the guy you were talking about, but it was a different person where I was like, what the fuck? That person, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what is that? That's like not even that's rude, if anything, kind of thing. So don't do that either. That kind of goes more back to the etiquette do's and don'ts thing. But there's a little bit of that probably hadn't happened until after we recorded that anyway. So, where did we go? Where are we?
Like, comment, favorite, and
Great.
subscribe.
Oh my God. Okay, now the fade into the end title card. Fucking God Almighty.
Wait, I have one. I'm just kidding.
Really?
No, I don't. I have nothing to say. Heather, what do you
down the flights
say?
of stairs.
Something, Heather. She's been like asleep this whole time because we've been boring the shit out of her.
I'm sorry, Michael.
I'm not.
Do the end thing, but do it as an impression of love, Michael.
If you have Kirblog topics for the future, yeah, I mean, you can leave a comment about it if you want. You can like send him a message on Twitter or Tumblr. I don't really use those much, but you can send them to him if you want. Yeah, and where are we?
Michael, we're in your room.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Everything is fine. Everything is peaceful.
Oh my God.
We love you, Michael.
We really do.
We're just being assholes.
Oh my
because
God.
It's late.
Don't meet us if we're your heroes because we're assholes.
That's the moral of the story.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I guess I won't be taking Kirblog topic suggestions for a while. You're still more than welcome to leave one if you want. I might hold off on them until like November or so. But look forward to Voice October and other things that I have planned in the future. Ben, thank you for coming here and ruining everything.
My
I guess.
pleasure. So when are we doing the Zootopia 2 Kirblog?
Bye.
Bringing
everybody.
it all back.
Bye.
Bye.